Good evening, folks. Tonight I was going to have a straight up panel discussion about a video clip I just posted. However, evidently everyone's got things to do, probably with the holidays and everything, so nobody that's in my panel group has showed up. So what I'm going to do is play just a second. My stream health is gone to crap again. My internet provider again. Hey, how you doing, Eric? I'm going to go ahead and play the clip that tonight's panel was going to be about, and maybe somebody will join in by the time it's done. So some of you may have already heard this, but for those of you who haven't heard it yet, I'll go ahead and play that for you. Just a second, folks. It looks like my you have to go into the panel section under show, Amy. It's all the way down at the bottom of the list of channels. It says panel. But my stream, am I all messed up? Does it look alright? Because it looks like it's going to crap. Let me try changing the delay. If I can do that while I'm already doing it. So I have it on ultra low latency, which should work since my internet connection is supposed to be better. No, it won't let me change it. I'm going to stop streaming for a second and change this and come back on. It shouldn't even quit. You guys should just see me like stop for a second. That's it. Hold on a second. Alright, it would not let me do that until it actually completely shuts down this live stream, so I'm not going to do that. Hopefully I'm looking alright. How's it looking, guys? I can't read. Only got one contact in. Makes it difficult. Hi, Randy. Yeah, Eric, we as a people rise up. They've already tried that with the whole UFO thing. So it isn't going to work too well. Hi, Amy. Hold on, I think this one. Hi, Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
All right, I just want to make sure I could hear you. This is the first time we've used the new panel channel. All right, so for those of you who have not heard the video clip about tracking the military tracking Bigfoot, I'm going to play that for you now, and then afterwards, hopefully, more of the panel will show up and we'll have a little discussion. Hello, folks. I have something a little different for y'all. This is going to actually be just a little clip from an upcoming interview. About a month ago, I had the honor of talking to a guy who had served in special operations, and he wanted to basically give me a deathbed confession. The doctors said if he's lucky, he'd make it a month. He has a heart problem. He was on, oxygen and that kind of stuff. So he wanted to tell me his story and then have me relate it to y'all in one of my episodes. So I was recording our conversation, which went on for about 5 hours. And since I was just recording for my own purposes, the audio is not the best. But by the end of the conversation, he said he would like for me to go ahead and make the the conversation public that we had, so that a friend of his wife could hear what really happened from his own mouth. And so just be patient with the audio. And also, there's a lot of f-bombs. This is a 5-hour interview. I'm going to have to cut down or edit down for time, as well as get rid of the f-bombs. I mean, we were just two ex-military guys talking about a situation. There are a lot of f-bombs. So just be patient, and I'll see you in a minute.
This is okay. I haven't even got to the fucking kicker. Okay, so you were asking questions. Okay, all right. Here's the fucking kicker. This thing had a fucking a radio collar on its fucking ankle. This was the one that he was fucking tracking. Okay, so this is where the guy fucking failed. Okay, all right. By this point, I guess this damn thing's battery operated. Well, he has no. He wasn't tracking. He had this shit all folded up. He had that gear packed away. He wasn't tracking this fucking thing as we were going back to HC.
Well, that was pretty ignorant.
He could. Now he claims that the fucking battery that he had no power to the equipment.
Well, I suppose that's possible if he was using it all day. I mean, batteries do die.
So it had this. It looked like it was a metal. It was like a steel band. Okay, with four box type of. It looked like 4 boxes that were attached to a metal. If I remember correctly, I think that metal it looked like a big ass metal collar that was. Okay. It was 3.5, maybe 4 inches wide. And it had 4 boxes on it. Thick, like boxes. I don't know what the fuck was. I don't know if that the tracking part of it. Because there was, which.
What were the boxes? Were the boxes like the size of a cigarette pack, or were they bigger?
Yeah, how'd you know that?
Just guessing.
Nah, come on, Rick. Really, how'd you know that? That's exactly what they look like. That's a perfect analogy. They look like cigarette on the. But there was 4 of them.
That's just what I would think would be a logical design for something like that. That's all.
Yeah, I had never seen anything like that before. So that goes to So of course, my question is one, who the fuck put the collar on her? Okay. And of course, this guy's not answering any fucking questions at this point. We're ready to kill this son of a bitch. I won't be honest. I'm surprised that guy made it out of the fucking woods. To be honest with you, I mean, I found this out. I found this out. Later. But those guys actually were contemplating about putting a fucking bullet in that and leaving him out there and said, "Fuck Sasquatch got his ass." But yeah. Yeah, both of them.
So this tracking collar, did it appear like it had been there for a long time, like hair had grown around it, and maybe even skin, like it was depressed into the leg itself? You know how when an animal has something wrapped around it, the skin will actually grow around it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, not like that. How you could tell it was been there for a while, you could tell by the had it that'll look. You could tell that they were probably trying to walk through water to try to get the damn thing off. You know what I mean? It had a little bit of rust and shit on it. It looked like it had been painted like a military green, and you can see where it had been scratched up and dented, and the paint was peeling off of it, and it looked pretty old.
Or did you say it was OD green?
Yes. Yep.
Well, that's an interesting choice of color.
How so? I mean, it looked like military issue type of shit. You know, to me,
Well, that's
it
exactly
looked like it,
that's exactly
huh?
that's exactly what I mean. It's OD green. That's Army. You know, Army Marine. That's military.
Yeah, it is what it was Army Green.
So that, but
It,
what I'm saying is that's not like civilian, uh, a civilian choice. I mean, a civilian scientist would probably have chosen a color that matched the fur color, or so, or maybe a gray, or you know, some other color than an OD green.
but see, that's not the first question that came to my mind. The first thing that came to my fucking mind, you know, it didn't look like it was like I said, it looked like the 4 cigarette packs on a big band of metal wrapped around her left leg. But the thing about it is I'm thinking, I just saw her pick up my best friend and smash him against a fucking tree with ease, and you're telling me that she couldn't pull this thing off of her leg?
Well, probably not without breaking her ankle. I mean, it's steel. You know, there are limits. I know they can rip doors off of cars, but still, depending on how thick that steel is, she would have had to break her leg.
Yeah, it was a pretty hefty. It was pretty heavy. Something from if I had to guess, it looked like something that you would have that would have been made maybe in the 60s, maybe 70s.
You mean
You
like,
know, it had that old military look. You know, if that makes any sense, you could tell it had been on there.
like old shackles?
Yes, yep, that's a perfect analogy. Yep, it's been on there for a fucking.
But I mean, as far as the thickness of the steel, it was like those old shackles you see in the movies that are really, really big and thick.
It looked like an old slave ship. That's the best analogy I could. It looked like the
So it's
slaves and shackles.
so it's feasible to think that she would not have been able to bust it off without breaking her ankle.
Yeah, but I would think with it, you know, yeah, I, I guess unless, yeah, I couldn't see the inside. You know, this it wasn't removed in my presence, so I really I would love to, you know, I would love to see what that thing looked like off. You know what I mean?
Well, I know if I was going to design something like that, there wouldn't be a locking mechanism. It would have been welded so it was one solid piece of steel. Because,
it was one piece of solid. It was one. See, I didn't see anywhere where you didn't see a beginning or ending. If you understand what I'm saying, I didn't see where there would be where they, you know, where two ends were come together that are fastened. I didn't see anything.
so it was welded together. And the thing about that is that if she'd have tried to break that off, not only would she have fucked up her ankle, which would impede her ability to move anymore, it potentially could have severed her Achilles tendon, which again she would be a cripple.
Which would have killed her.
Being a cripple, yeah, she would have had a hard time surviving. Yeah, but I mean that wouldn't have killed her. It just would have hobbled her. She wouldn't have been able to walk anymore.
But okay, but the whole moral of this thing is what I'm trying to government fucking knows about these things. They're tracking them. They know where they live. Things are on a fucking regular basis. If these things are killing women, killing children, killing just human beings, they know about this. These fucking missing persons and where these they know. I can't say they know where everyone. The male didn't have a track, but this particular female did. And the fact that I have two civilian type, two nerdy fucking, you know, these two guys. in my whole 14 years, I never, I work with civilians, but I'm not in the field. Never in the field. Even the Gulf War, I didn't work with civilians in the field.
Well, I did.
I didn't. So,
all right, folks. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of F-bombs in there. It's going to take some time for me to edit this down from a 5-hour interview or discussion to a much more manageable interview that y'all will be patient enough to get through. And it's going to take me a long time to edit out all the F-bombs. So if you happen to know of a program out there that can go through an audio track and bleep out F-bombs, yeah, leave it in the comments below. So I will get this done as soon as possible. I told him I would do it as a memorial to him and his friend, and also so that his friend's wife can finally, after 30 years, hear the truth about what happened to her husband. So I'm going to work on this as quickly as I can. Again, if you know a program, please leave it in the comments below. And until next time, y'all take it easy. Okay, that was the little short clip. I don't know if any of you saw that. I posted it this morning. And as I said, this was a this was a 5-hour conversation I had with this guy. And I have to the entire 5 hours, well, maybe except for the very, very end, like the last 10-15 minutes, where I think we might have, I haven't got to that point yet. We've probably bull crapped around a little bit, but pretty much the entire 5 hours is discussing this operation. And he went into a lot of detail, excruciating at times, so I'm going to cut some of that out. But a lot of things happened. But for now, we're just going to talk about that little bit of it. I think there's a lot to be discussed in that little bit of it. So let me bring the panel in. Hey, guys.
But it's bad.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Rick.
Okay, you guys are on. So what'd you think about the clip?
Well, I don't understand the whole thing. How could that bracelet that was on her leg not have a beginning or end? And she would have had to been tranquilized for that to have been put on.
Yep. I agree with you about tranquilizing her. I mean, you just put it on. You put it on, if they probably have a bolt, it's probably two-sided, and underneath the 4 boxes, they have a bolt or something. But they probably tack weld it so that it can't be pulled apart. That's how I would do it.
Oh, okay. Well, it didn't he say it had some rust on it?
Yeah, he said it had the paint was chipped. It had some rust, like it had been in the water and that kind of thing. Which, I mean, he said like they tried to take it apart in the water. Well, I mean, Bigfoot's gonna walk through water, be in the rain and everything else. So I don't think really that's pertinent. But I don't think that the Bigfoot might have tried to get it off at one point and realized that she was gonna break her leg or hurt herself badly trying, so she just left it there.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think it would have gotten the Achilles tendon.
Oh, yeah. To put that kind of pressure, I mean, I'm assuming, obviously, that this is a pretty substantial piece of steel. You would probably be hard. You're talking jaws of life kind of pressure to get that thing off of there, and that would definitely cut through, soft tissue.
And 2, probably she was adult when it was put on, or her skin would have grown over.
Exactly. That's why I asked him that question. I wanted to know how long it had been on her leg, if she was adolescent or whatever. But obviously, it's only been since she's been full grown.
Somebody was tracking her.
Yeah, now you're getting into part of the other, the rest of it. Yeah,
Okay, I'm retracting that. I'm retracting.
No, I'll explain that part because he did discuss it, and it was kind of pertinent. They had DF equipment, and they were searching the woods for this tracking device. and they found it. Or should I say, she found them.
Yeah. Well, that proves right there what everybody said about the government all this time. They're way in.
Yeah, what I find disturbing is that the OD green, to me, I mean, it possibly might not mean that the military's in charge of this whole thing, but I tend to think that it's a high probability that they are, and that's the scary part. This is a military project. The Bigfoot is or Sasquatch are a military project.
Well, yeah, that'd be my first guess too. Otherwise, why that particular color that points right?
Hi, Dee Dee. Why don't you pop in the panel? Because not many panel members showed up tonight. It's all the way at the bottom of the list. Hold on a second, Amy. I'm reading the comments real quick. Okay, what was it? What'd you say, Amy? What did you ask me? Amy, your headphones are blocked. You've hit the button again.
What part of the country was this in, Rick, or did he say?
Pennsylvania. Up in the Appalachian Trail area. Crypto, your wife thinks you're gonna look like me in the future. You'd be a lucky guy. Stephanie, it was in Allegheny, something or other area. Go ahead, Lane.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So, you think that they was tracking her to study it, or do you think that they're worried about where they're going to show up, or what's your feeling on exactly why they're tracking her? Both, I guess, probably.
Well, I don't want to get out. Like I said, there's a 5-hour discussion about this whole thing. There was a. They were told when they first started the mission that there was a missing family.
Okay, I didn't, I don't want to press anything. I can't wait to hear the whole thing, but I just, in general, the government, if they are doing that, do you think they're doing it to study them, or do you think they're just doing it to keep track of them, or probably both?
I heard you. I was reading the comment. What did you say about before keeping track of them?
Yeah, you think they're tagging them or banding, collaring them to just keep track of them, or do you think that they're studying them, or both?
I think both. Like somebody who left a comment underneath the clip. If you wanted to keep track of the Bigfoot population, the best thing to do is put trackers on the females.
Yeah, I seen that comment. I mean, yeah, that does make sense because the males are going to hang around the females, at least at breeding time. I don't know if they breed like they have a cycle like deer and elk and stuff do, or if they're like us that just, do it whenever they feel like it or want a little, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I mean, that's a good idea.
Okay, I'm going to answer a question in chat real quick. Yeah, fly, whatever. Uh, did he? Yes, in the discussion, yeah, he was up close and personal with them. So very detailed, details that I've not heard from anybody else before, too. This is 1988. Where did Teresa go?
Her mic and earphones are.
Oh no, she
They have-
scrolled down below my window. I thought she left. Yeah, Amy, you were kind of weren't hearing anything I was asking you before. You had asked me a question when I started reading the chat. What was it?
I don't know. I don't know where I went off. I accidentally touched my earphones, and you were probably talking, and I didn't realize.
Yeah, I was telling you, Amy, you turned off your headphones like you're going to hear me, right?
Yeah. Well, if they were out there looking for her, they might have been preparing to send a kill team in. I mean, if a family was missing, don't
They were the kill team.
Well, I wasn't going to ask that, but I got it anyway. I'm trying not to ask ahead so you don't answer too many questions, but it's like you just want to ask all this stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and I'll ask away. There's just so much in the whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to. That's a 5-hour conversation. I mean, you couldn't ask enough questions in this to cover everything. So, yeah, go ahead. I'll answer whatever.
So did they get them?
They were after the female, and they ended up getting 2 of them.
Okay, so they were after the female because that's the one they were tracking. Well, did they find out for sure? Was there any evidence that they had anything to do with that family
Oh my God. All right, folks. They found a cave that was chocked full of clothing and like things that were taken from campsites and like a bunch of coolers, torn up pants with the belt still in them, torn up shoes, all the way down to the shoes. He said of about a 5-year-old.
Those bastards. Well, that goes back to what you hear on some of the 411 missing things, where they find pants with the belt still in them, like they just fell to the ground or whatever. I know that's been mentioned a number.
Yeah, crypto, as far as look like the patty. I was trying to get him because one of the big things about the patty is that her butt looks like a pillow inside of a suit, unless you get up close. I've done that in my video. But, not really. I mean, yes and no. But he said that he saw the Patterson Gimlin film, and he said he knew instantly it was a real film. That absolutely, that's real. Anyone who thinks it's not is a fool. That's what he said. Now I want to add something about this guy. During the 5 hours, there were multiple times I would say something. I'd say, "Oh, you mean like this?" Or I would say, "Oh, so and so said that," or whatever. This guy had no knowledge whatsoever. He didn't even know what the BFRO was. He had very little knowledge at all about Bigfoot. And I said something about Dogman once. He said, "What is that?" He had never heard of it. This guy he's not one of these people who's been, what's the word I'm looking for? Obsessed with Bigfoot and stuff ever since. And he wanted nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, he said his mother lives in a rural area. And he said after that happened, he said he wouldn't even go to his mother's house anymore. He wanted nothing to do with the woods anymore.
Did he give a good description of the body?
Oh, very detailed. Very. especially the female. Very detailed. I got some information that nobody has ever said before. We've talked about that particular detail.
Oh, the genital detail.
Yeah.
Well, good. Now you know that, because we were wondering about that when we were talking.
Yeah, that's in there too. But I mean, he was standing right there. I mean, he could have put his foot on it. You know, they had to wrap it up in the cargo netting and stuff and have it hauled off.
And I guess he doesn't know where they took it.
No, he said he has no idea where they took it.
Well, it sounds like that one troop might have been responsible for quite a few disappearances if all that was in that cave.
My impression was that the female had done something. Of course, I'm reading between the lines, obviously, because he really didn't know until they ran into the male. None of them knew why they were even there. They thought they were looking for a missing family. But reading between the lines of everything that happened, I would say that something happened. Maybe he's not even sure if the missing family was real or a cover story. But I suspect that something happened. Possibly this family went missing. And they know that this female Bigfoot had been taking people and eating them for a while. And they were out there looking for her. And when they were out there looking for her, they ran into her mate. And ended up killing him. And then they were, after it was nightfall, it was deep into the night, they were heading back to camp. And, they were going to start the next day again. And that's when the female attacked them.
And where did you say this happened? I forgot.
The Appalachian Trail. He actually mentions, he says he has no idea where exactly, but he knows that at one point they passed a trail marker, and he told me what the marker number was. So once y'all hear the interview, I'm not going to go looking in through 5 hours for one, 5-second thing where he talked about the marker. But he mentions the trail marker number, so y'all will be able to pretty much find out exactly where this area was.
Yeah, we could look it up.
No, he didn't say that. He said, what was it? The male, his fur was two-toned. He said it was kind of strange. But as far as like guard hairs is what you're talking about, he didn't get that close to it. He didn't want to touch it. The other guys were the ones that loaded it up. He just kind of stood there on guard.
Did he say, Rick, how hard it was to bring them down? What firepower they was using, or exactly what it took to take them down? Because you hear how hard it is to take one down. I was just wondering if he said how many shots or how much it took to bring it.
Yeah, he did. Actually, the male went down really easy. A single .223 round took him down through the side of the ribs. So it must have went in somewhere underneath the arm, where there's very little anything except for skin and bone.
Well, and I've heard that too. I've heard a few people say that if you're going to shoot one, you want to shoot them in the side. You don't want to hit them right in the chest or anything. So there, maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, Crypto. If you click the eye icon that's up here in the corner, I actually have it there. You can click on it, and that's where the video is. Yeah, the male went down. He got shot in the foot, and like it grazed his thigh or something. But he only had one single round that went through the side of his chest, and he dropped. He doesn't know how far. He was actually. They had 3 5-man squads out there, and he was in one of the other squads, and they heard the gunfire, and they ran over there. When they got over there, the thing was already dead. But that's where the kill shot was when they found him. So he has no idea how like far he made it after he was hit in that spot, or if he dropped immediately. But that was the only bullet wound in his torso, so that had to be what killed him.
Yeah, interesting for sure.
Crypto, do I know you? You calling me Pops? My nickname used to be Beast Mode Pops when I was working at the factory. Yeah, very, very detailed. I mean, I would have to. When he described the male and both of them, when he described both of them, the description was over 30 minutes long. So obviously, I'm not getting into it.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to hear this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, Crypto. Yeah, they used to call me Beast Mode Pops. I thought that's what you were referring to, like maybe you were somebody I knew when I worked up there. Now the female, they lit her up. She, as you heard in the clip, when she ambushed them, she grabbed his best friend, who was 2 guys over. They were just kind of walking back to camp. They weren't really in formation or anything. They were like 5 of them abreast, and then there were some more behind them. There was all 15 of them were, well, there was 17 with the civilians, were heading back to camp. And she come out of the woods and grabbed his best friend, who was 2 guys over, about, I think he said like 20 feet over, or something like that. And grabbed him by the shoulders, basically, picked him up like a baseball bat and smacked him against a tree, and basically broke his back. The guy was paralyzed from the diaphragm down for the rest of his life, and he died a few years later from complications. But she, when I meant to tell you how she died, when she did that, they lit her up, and he said he had his night vision on, and he could see the tracer rounds hitting her, and the blood flying. And he said they hit her at least 15 or 20 times, and she turned around, and took off running, and she ran about, I think he said 100 feet or so before she dropped.
So was it just that male and female, or did they think that there were more, but they only got those 2?
They have no idea. They didn't even know why they were there until the mail came out. So all of them thought they were really looking for a missing family. They kept asking, well, how come you're not giving us a description of him and stuff? And they were wondering why they weren't search helicopters and things like that. However, you can construe that 2 different ways. Either it was a cover story, or if you remember Politis discussing that one missing kid, where they said, yeah, people were searching, and then special forces came in here, and they weren't even in the same search area. They were way the heck over. That might have been that kind of situation.
Oh yeah, the Dennis Martin account.
Yeah, as far as the F-bombs, like I said, I'm going to try and edit them all out. I wasn't going to originally play that clip. I was just going to go straight to discussion. But only one person showed up to talk, and usually there's like 10 people in panel. So I don't know what everyone's up to tonight, but it's close to Christmas, so they probably got family, Christmas shopping, all that stuff going on. That's why I gave everyone, I think, a 45-minute heads up about tonight. So it is what it is. So I played the clip so that to kind of fill up time and then give us all something to discuss about. You guys in chat could ask questions, and that kind of thing. So I wasn't originally going to play it because of the F-bombs. But they're going to be cleared out of the final interview.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Amy. Hey, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hi, Teresa. Yeah, T,
Hello
if you
again.
want to listen to this clip, just click the info icon in the corner, and there's a link to it.
Info. Oh, get out of panel and go to the.
No,
main voice.
Teresa, I'm talking to somebody in chat. His name is just T.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You didn't know. Yeah, this is I've edited a good portion of the extraneous conversation out of the interview, and I'm still at 3 hours long. So I'm gonna have to go through and chop out a lot of the details that he put in there and stuff to get it down to a manageable interview. And a lot of people have asked me to put the entire 5 hour conversation up, and I said if you get if you get that video up to 10 million views by the first of the year, I will put it up. And the reason is because YouTube frowns upon that, so I could get in trouble for all of the F-bombs. I mean, that is a lot of F-bombs in that thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was just like shielding the people that watch this, I don't think there would be very many people offended by the F-bomb.
Well, YouTube frowns upon it, and when videos like that, I don't get any ad revenue from. So it's kind of, it's going to be a real popular video that I'll make no ad revenue from. And you know that because I'm crippled now, this is the only way this and Uber is the only way that I make money anymore.
Yeah, I understand completely. You've got to because this is going to be a really good one, even if it takes you a while to get it edited out and it's tamer, it's going to get a lot of the.
Yeah, hopefully it will. I mean, it's the best interview I have ever heard, bar none. Everybody, Sasquatch, nobody has had the information that this guy reveals in this conversation is not even out there. There's speculation about some things, and people are, maybe this, maybe that. Well, he puts it right out there. This is what it is.
Perfect.
Well, with this story coming out that you done there, Rick, I think that a lot of other stories that you hear that you kind of thought were maybe a little far fetched or something. It kind of brings them back around, to where maybe some of them real far fetched tales that that might have been doubtful or something. With this, it kind of brings it around to where a guy could probably think, well, maybe it is right.
Actually, he after talking to him, I am convinced that I was right and that most of those other stories are a bunch of crap after talking to him.
The military story.
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them are, yeah.
Well, that's going to be awesome because even if they have discrepancies or stuff that sounds weird in them, people love Bigfoot and the military stories.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with my mic. You're probably hearing echoes because I actually have the same sound going to Discord and YouTube, and it's going back through. You're going to hear echoes, particularly if somebody presses their push to talk button in Discord. Oh, now my voice is too loud. I don't know how many videos people say, turn up your microphone, you're not loud enough. And my settings are pretty much the same as they always are. And now I'm too loud. Can you believe this, Amy? You were over here on the YouTube side before I asked you to come in here. Was my video choppy and stuff? Because now my thing's just going reet. It's just spinning like there's an internet problem again.
Yeah, it was a little bit choppy a couple of times.
Yeah, there's an internet issue still. Unbelievable. These guys cannot get this fixed. I mean, I've had a problem since, what, February? And they still haven't fixed it?
How many times have they been out there now? A bunch, I know.
They've been out here, even my encoder's showing red now. They've been out here about 20 or 25 times now so far, just since about February.
Yeah, not to mention the times you've talked to him on the phone besides that.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to close out YouTube because it looks like it's gone to complete crap. All right, guys, if you can still hear me, obviously there's a problem with my internet connection again. So we're going on 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and close out the show for now. And until next time, y'all take it easy.